Have you seen the size of this thing? This is the largest case that I reviewed so far in 2022. So let's go ahead and take a look. So back in January, Cooler Master introduced their HAF 700 EVO, and this is a pretty unique case at the time. Some of the super high-end features of that case were that it had a circular LCD that would show just, system stats and things like that. You also had these tempered glass columns that went down the front of the case that lit up with RGB lighting. The issue with this case is that it was out of the price range for a lot of people. It's $659, and that's just a lot to spend on the case. So Cooler Master has now come out with the HAF 700 non-EVO, just normal HAF 700, and it's pretty much the same case without some of those super high-end features. So again, you do not have the circular LCD, you don't have those tempered glass columns down the front, but the overall design of the case is pretty much the same. So you can still fit crazy water cooling setups in here. You can, fit up to 15 hard drives in here. It comes with 5 ARGB fans. Almost the entire case is toolless as well. So we're gonna see if this is gonna be the case to build your super high-end system in 2022. So let's talk about size. This is definitely the largest case that I've taken a look at so far in 2022, and probably one of the largest cases that I've ever reviewed, and I've been reviewing computer hardware forever. It is a massive case. I'm gonna go ahead and put the official dimensions sort of like right here. With it being so big, you definitely are gonna wanna make sure you have space, on your desk or in your setup for this case. Also, the case is decently heavy. So without anything installed, the case is around 40 pounds. So think of adding hardware, like me just picking this case up to put it on this desk. It's a workout, so definitely keep that in mind. The color design on the case is what Cooler Master is calling their titanium gray. Now, depending on your lighting, this can either look sort of like gunmetal or black. If we look at the front of the case, two things that of course are noticeably missing compared to the HAF 700 EVO is that we don't have those glass spacer blades and we don't have the circular display. Now we just have 2 large plastic spacers in a mesh front panel. It does look like Cooler Master is using a finer mesh, which is definitely gonna help out with your airflow. Behind this mesh, we have 2 of Cooler Master's included SickleFlow 200mm PWM ARGB PE fans. Cooler Master has gone ahead and split up your I/O buttons and connections on the case. These are essentially located on the front. So on the left side, you have a small reset button, larger power button, and headphone and microphone jacks. And then on the right side, there are 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports and a single USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port. Now you can remove the front panel of the case quite easily. There's a lever at the bottom that you simply just pull on, and then that will release the panel quite easily. With the panel removed, we can see our 2 200mm fans. Now the fan brackets at the front of the case are only made for 200mm fans, but Cooler Master does list 420mm capability for radiators. At the top section of the case is a large ventilated section that covers roughly about 80% of the top panel. Now this main top panel can easily slide off by removing a single thumb screw on the back of the case. If you remove the side panel and remove 2 more screws, you can fully remove the top section of the case, which makes it easier to install fans or radiators. The main side panel of the case is a very large tempered glass panel, which is slightly tinted. It is going to show up everything in the main compartment, so definitely keep that in mind. The opposite side panel is a metal panel, but it does have ventilation throughout for specific sections of the case. The back section of the case has a design that we've seen on other 2 compartment cases before. At the top is a large ventilated section, then 2 120mm exhaust fans, another ventilated section, your motherboard I/O, and a section for your power supply that is going to be in a vertical orientation. The 2 pre-installed exhaust fans are Cooler Master's SickleFlow 120mm PWM ARGB fans. There is a slot protector that you simply pull on to access your expansion cards, and you'll also notice external tie-down points on the back of the case to manage all of your cables. Now, there are included Velcro straps in the accessories box to make use of these. Removing the main side panel of the case is much different than other cases out there. First, you'll have to remove the top panel of the case. Then you simply pull up on the side panel and it will release. One thing I really like about this is that because these side panels are so big, this makes it so they're sort of locked onto the panel before you remove them. So if you're, a lot of cases, you remove a thumb screw and then the panel just falls. Being that these panels are so big, you definitely, it definitely saves you from scratching up your desk or anything like that, which I really appreciate. With the main side panel removed, we can look inside and see that we have a large open section. The main motherboard tray is visible and supports ITX, Micro ATX, ATX, and ETX motherboards. Even with that, you can also install SSI CEB and SSI EEB motherboards like the ROG Dominus Extreme in this case. So again, if you are building an insane system, this is definitely a case that can support it. Around the motherboard tray, you have a total of 7 cable routing holes, all of which have the rubber inserts installed. Right next to the motherboard tray is a multi-use section that does have 3 hard drive trays pre-installed on it. We'll talk about those in just a little bit. This section can also be used for cooling and supports either 4 120mm fans or 3 140mm fans, as well as radiators up to 480mm. Right above this bracket is a bracket that can also be removed and allows for more fans and radiators to be installed at the top of the case. At the bottom of the case, you'll find a cooling bracket. This cooling bracket has another SickleFlow 120mm PMW ARGB fan installed on it, bringing the total number of fans included with the case to 5. This bracket is actually pretty cool as you can easily angle it or completely remove it from the case for easy installation of fans or radiators. The bracket will support either 3 120 or 140mm fans or radiators up to 420mm. You can actually install 3 hard drives on this bracket as well. This bracket is completely modular too, so you can move it to the front of the case or in the multi-use section inside the case. With the modular bracket removed, we can see the bottom of the case is completely ventilated and there is a filter that pulls out from the side of the case. Taking the opposite side panel off the case, we have a pretty interesting design. First, centrally located is a large bracket that not only helps hide your cables, but you can install 2 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch hard drives on it. Cooler Master is making use of large plastic locks that allow you to unlock certain sections of the case. This is one of those sections. Towards the front of the case, we have those 3 removable brackets, which also make use of the plastic locks. These brackets will support either a single 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch hard drive. With a large bracket removed, it reveals quite a lot. First, you'll find 2 PCBs inside the case. The first is located at the top of the case and is a fan and ARGB hub. All of the included fans are pre-wired to this hub. And then the second PCB, which is centrally located, takes the ARGB signal from the hub and acts as a controller that you connect to your PC via an internal USB connection. This makes it so you can control the lighting effects via Cooler Master software. There are also 2 large included hooks that can be used for cable routing. Moving over, there is a large hard drive cage that has 4 removable plastic trays. Each tray will support either a 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch hard drive. Now you might be thinking this section is a bit hard to access, but you find a little latch release at the top which will allow the entire cage to sort of rotate out, and you can fully remove it from the case as well. Finally, below the hard drive cage is where you'll mount your power supply vertically. Cooler Master did hook us up with their new XG Plus 850 Platinum, which is an AED Plus Platinum certified fully modular power supply that does have a pretty cool display. Sadly, we won't be able to see it in this build. When it comes to lighting on the case, we of course have 5 included ARGB fans. You have the 2 200mm in the front, 2 120s at the back, and then the single 120 on the bottom here. Now with just those, it does light up the inside of your case pretty well, but I think if you really want to illuminate things, because the case is just so big, maybe get some ARGB strips or something like that. Even with our AIO in here, we added even more lighting, but again, I still think if you really want to light things up, definitely get some ARGB strips. I think they would look pretty awesome around our motherboard or around our motherboard tray. different things like that. It was really cool, especially when we installed our 360 millimeter AIO, is we were able to wire the fans as well as the ARGB connections to the included controller, and then we were able to control everything with Cooler Master's Master Plus software. The software is extremely easy to use and pretty much self-explanatory. It allows you to change different colors of your, the fans and ARGB, everything like that, change effects, change the speed of effects. It's really easy to use. Now here's a full list of hardware that we use for our case reviews. When it comes to cases, we measure both temperature as well as noise levels. For temperature, we use the 864, temperature readings, and then for our sound levels, we use a Rise Pro sound level meter. It is positioned 5 inches from the front of the case as well as 5 inches from the side of the case for our readings. For those wondering, we do have Cooler Master's Master Liquid PL360 Flux installed in this case as you see it. Now we installed this after we did all of our tests, but we'll go ahead and include those CPU tests at the end. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is supposed to be the less expensive version of the HAF 700 EVO, which came in at $649. Now this case is going to be $299, which again is still expensive when it comes to a PC case, but I think you're getting a lot of case and a lot of features for that price. As I mentioned, noticeably missing is that LCD, that circular LCD that was on the front of the case, as well as those really cool glass blades that went down the front of the case. In my opinion, you're not losing all that much and you're still getting the same overall design of the case, which I definitely appreciate from Cooler Master. This massive overall design gives you room inside for the largest hardware. So the longest graphics cards you can think of, the largest motherboards you can think of. So if you did want to do something with like the ROG Dominus Extreme, like it can fit in here. You can do insane cooling setups. I think out of the box, this case will support up to 17 fans, which is just insane. You can do, I believe you can do a 420 in the bottom, 420 in the front. You can do a 420 millimeter radiator up top, or you can do two 360 millimeters radiators side by side there. And then on the side mount, you can actually do a 480 millimeter radiator, I believe. So just so much room for fans in here. Also, 15 hard drives can be supported as well, which is just a ton of hard drives. And one thing I really liked about this case is that it is super easy to install everything. So many sections of the case are completely toolless, and a lot of the areas of the case, like you can remove them and then install your hardware. So like this bracket here at the bottom, this can be fully removed. All of the hard drive trays can be fully removed. The hard drive cages can be fully removed. The top section of the case can be fully removed, and you can easily install all of your hardware outside of the case. Now, our test system looks kind of funny in here because we have a lot of dead space. And I think if you're just a normal builder, single graphics card, AIO, or even an air cooler, this case might be a little bit overkill for you. But if you are doing a water-cooled system, or you're building a really, EATX, just super high-end system, this is definitely gonna be a case for you. It has a lot of really cool features that you're not gonna find in other cases out there. And like I said, the building experience is really good, and everything in this case is thought out very well, which I definitely appreciate. Like some of the, just like the little things of how they have the cable routing holes set up, how they have the, the two included controllers in the case and how they work together, and how you can add on to those as well, which I really appreciate. Adding our AIO, we were able to connect both the fans and the ARGB connections to that controller so we can control everything together and it's all in sync and everything like that, which again, just makes all of the difference. So if you have any questions about this case, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. We'll see you guys in the next video.